What's up, riders? Old Man Ronin here, and welcome back to the channel. Yes, we've got a second chance on the Scram 411, and we're gonna take it, baby. Stay tuned. You know, one of the things when I do these test rides on these bikes that I do not own, obviously, I'm usually limited to a week's worth of riding. But to be perfectly honest with you, I was really super impressed with the Scram 411 that I actually asked Dave up there at Mid-Ohio Power Sports, man, can I take it another week? And of course they said, yes sirree Bob, you can take it for another week. And that's what we're doing right now. We're getting on it, and we're gonna head back to the house. We're gonna hit a few places that are gonna be kind of fun, a little bit different roads, trying to see exactly how this engine really behaves, how this bike really behaves, and how it does riding all different kind of stuffs in my part of Ohio. It's gonna be a really fun video. But what does the Scram 411 in my mind mean to me, and what do I think about the bike? Well, the first thing is obvious. This thing is literally a Himalayan with a little bit of changes to it. So as far as the familiarity of the controls and everything, it's superb. I mean, I love my Hemi, man. I'll never get rid of that motorcycle, and it's one of the ones that's going to stay with me the rest of my life. And I'll tell you what, I really do enjoy the bike as far as how the stance is and how I sit. Now, I'd rather have a little bit taller. Obviously, I talk about that because of my 6'2" frame and my my 34-inch inseam. I got to keep checking, guys. It's cold. It's 46 degrees. I'll put the Celsius up in the corner this morning, and we haven't had a break in temperature in a long time, and it's still morning hours. In fact, that's why I have the Olympia Seattle jacket on right now, because it's you know, it's a little chilly. But to be honest with you, as warm as these things are, I only have a t-shirt on underneath it. But long story short, this bike really does remind me of the Himalayan. It does handle a little bit better on the road than the Hemi does, and I think it's because a slightly fatter front tire and obviously smaller. This is a 19-inch tire on the front as opposed to a 21-inch, and so that does make a difference in the corners. The rake is slightly different, but if you're one of these guys that really wants to ride mostly on the road, this is the bike for you. If you're one of the guys who's like me, it wants to ride mostly off-road, that's the bike. The Himalayan's the bike for you. And it's got, I love how they incorporated the name Himalayan Scram 411, because this is truly a scrambler. I would say more so than what you see the other scramblers on the road are. You know, I'm not going to mention any names, Triumph. I'm not going to mention any names, Ducati. But this bike is set up more for that kind of thing than what they are. All they really do have is a high exhaust and more aggressive tires. This has much more than that.
Nice.
So familiarity is a huge factor for me on this bike. It's one of the reasons why I think it's one of the better motorcycles, and I think it's one of the best scramblers that are on the market today. So if you guys are looking for a scrambler, look at the Scram 411. So what else do I like about it? I tell you what, it's odd for me to say that I really like the seat on this bike, but the way that this thing is cupped, and you know, like I said, I've been on it for over 100 miles and stuff now. The way that I'm sitting on it, it gives my my lower lumbar just a little bit of support, and I like that. It feels pretty good. I probably enjoy the rider triangle on this bike maybe more than I expected. And part of it is, you know, down here where my knees are. I'm right here. When I'm riding aggressively in the corners, I like to grip that tank with my legs, and this bike here just sets me right where I want to be. I'm squeezing the tank, and I'm able to get around, and it feels good. So if we delve deeper into the rider triangle, the way that the seat feels, the way that the handlebars are, again, it's that familiarity that I mentioned earlier with the Himalayan, but I do find it exceptionally comfortable. Now, the foot peg positions are identical to the Himalayan. In fact, they use the same kind of rubber mounted that you can take off and just have the teeth on it, so that's going to be pretty familiar as well too. But as far as the rider triangle, this thing is near perfect for me as a person who's over 6'2". I really love the way it feels. You know, like I said, the difference mainly is the fact that there's no crash bars up here, and that fact is that I'm not bumping my knees up against mine. Now, I know the new ones don't have that, but perfectly honest with you, I like the seat on this motorcycle better than I do that comes on the Himalayan. So that's a huge factor right there. Are they interchangeable? No, you cannot change the seats between the Himalayan and the Scram 411, so don't even ask. It's a whole other setup. So what else besides the familiarity and of course the rider triangle do I like about this bike? I'll tell you what, you guys know that I love simple engines, and the 411 engine is now even, I would say, simpler than what the my version of the Himalayan was. The thing starts up every time, no pause whatsoever. So that's a huge factor, and the fact that I don't get that much vibration out of it. Now, is it as smooth as the J series? No. You still realize it's a single cylinder, but, and you heard me talk about the classic 500, it's a lot smoother than that. That's for darn sure. But I love that. I love it. But that's a whole other video and another day. But as far as that goes, the bike is, I mean, it's running fantastic. Like I say, it loves this 55 to 65 miles an hour, probably as good as any motorcycle out there. And again, I know we're running probably around 42 to 4,500 RPM. Again, no tack on this. That's a big difference between this and the Himalayan. There is no tachometer. But again, none of my Harleys have tachometers either. Very few of the Harleys I've ever owned have had a tachometer, except the older FXRs. Most of them just have a speedometer, and there you go. Which is cool. I don't mind it at all. I don't really need it. Again, you guys know that I ride by the seat of my pants. The only time I ever do the tack specs is for you guys. So far we've talked about the rider triangle, the familiarity, how well the engine, and of course now the suspension. The suspension is set up obviously just like the Himalayan when you first get it. There is some adjustment in the back for that monoshock. It can be a little difficult to adjust that if you're not used to it, getting down on your knees and getting underneath the bike, but it's only one notch. You know, you can go one at a time. Raise it, you know, set the preload a little bit lighter or heavier, whatever you need is the weight for you, and it's pretty easy to do. Again, I can feel little bumps in this, but that's because I haven't set it for my particular weight. I need a little bit slower rebound, so I'd probably set it down just a little bit, not up. And of course, on roads like this, it's fine right where it's at. It's doing a really good job right where it's at. So as a final thought, what do I think about the Scram 411? I think this would make a fantastic bike for a brand new rider. I think this would be a fantastic bike for a seasoned rider who wants to get out and maybe experience a little bit of gravel road. Not do it every day, because if you're going to do it every day, get the Himalayan. But if you're going to go out and once in a while say, you know what, hon, I think let's go ride some gravel, or you want to do it on your own, that's the perfect place to do it. This is a perfect bike for it. You know, and just, or if you like Iron Lady and I, to go on gravel roads, to go to wineries or some of these rural breweries, or just go out and visit friends that live like us on gravel roads, and man, I'll tell you what, this is the bike for you. And if you're in the market for a Scrambler, yeah, ride them all, baby. ride all of them, and then ride the Scram 411, and you'll see what I'm talking about. This thing is just a fantastic, I think it's one of the best, it's the best concept for a Scrambler, more so than taking a standard street bike and putting knobby tires on it, because it does have the ground clearance, it does have the suspension travel, it does have the ability to go off-road easier than what a street bike with knobby tires on it does, to be honest with you. I want to give this Scrambler 411 a big thumbs up, because I think it fills a niche, or a niche, that's not really out there right now. Because you can call anything a Scrambler by putting knobby tires on it. This one truly is. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this video today. Make sure you give us a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell notification button. Share and comment. You know, I read all the comments, and comment on as many as I possibly can. Until next time, guys, ride safe and keep her on two wheels, baby. And get out there and test ride a Scram 411. You're gonna love it.